So Clayton Christensen, in his book, How You Measure Your Life, pointed out that his colleagues who were Harvard MBAs, who were on the track to happiness, that when you follow them over time, many of them ended up in bad places. And he says they didn't start out with a strategy to mess up their lives, but that's exactly what happened. The Razor's Edge is about understanding what we know in the literature about how you truly build a good life.
In an excellent MBA program like ours, one of the challenges is to do integrative learning. So you'll take a finance class and you learn finance really well. You take an HR class and learn it really well. And one of the goals of this experience that we're doing here this weekend is to get students out of the classroom and to get them thinking about connections. Now, we do this explicitly with connections in the physical world, but what ends up happening is these connections start permeating the intellectual part of their world, and they start seeing how these things fit together, not just in terms of book learning, but in terms of who they are as a leader, who they are as a manager, who they want to be, and that's what we're trying to do here.
We intentionally separate ourselves from the city. We're out here in this incredible, beautiful place, surrounded by cliffs and a river and trees and bushes. When we can come out into an environment like this, it changes everything for them.
Not every day we get to do this. I was telling them this is better than being in the office.
Man, I don't even know what to say. That was awesome. I have a huge fear of heights. So this is, I mean, look at that. Came from all the way up there. That's wild. It's awesome. Leading and thriving, baby.
Well, I just think it's like a metaphor, like once you start doing something, it's like, it's not that bad. You just have to trust, that everything's gonna be okay. And I was like, I could hang out here for a while, just kind of look around, just kind of see what's around me, instead of just coming down as fast as possible.
I think the scariest part is when you feel yourself sit in a harness for the first time. It's not normal to be doing this, but when you can feel the support of the harness and the rope, that's when you feel a lot safer. So I feel like that in life, same thing. When you're on your own energy, then it's a lot scarier in life. But when you feel like the safety of the restraints, and it's kind of gives you that pushback. I think in life we fear pushback, but it's actually sometimes a pushback in some good ways that keeps us feeling that security.
You just have to do it. Others have done it. I'm not the first person to do it. Fabrice just did it. Greg just did it. I can do it too. And they did the same thing I did. So it's possible. So
Here you really can't get away from your problems. So if you're backing over a cliff, it's going to happen. And in that situation, it causes people to really think about, how do I confront something that I'm not an expert at? How do I confront when I don't really know my team very well and I need to get high performance from them or from myself? Those sorts of things you find get generated at a really accelerated rate out here.
So we're about ready to get in the boats. We're all getting our paddles and our life jackets fitted. Oh, here's mine. Yeah, we're about ready to put into the water, float down and paddle down the Colorado River for some awesome times and some gnarly rapids, hopefully. But it's going to be a great day.
So that was my first time rafting. We just got done. But I think it was awesome. I think it's big floating device. Everyone gets to pitch in a little bit, especially when you're coming around the corners. Some of us have to paddle backwards, some forward. So there's got to be some cohesion there. So it's great for team building, and it's just beautiful, relaxing.
So Keith and I did a little trust exercise. You'd jump in, you'd work with me. I can't do that alone. And of the 4 times we did it, we were successful half of the time. But I think there's some application for all of us. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Helen Keller said that originally, but I think that applies to our group as well.
It's day 3 and this is the end, and we're very excited. The day looks beautiful. We're going to be mountain biking, and I think everyone has great energy. So yes, we're ready.
Hopefully this maybe inspires you or maybe expands your mind of what mountain biking could be. Road biking is a little different because you can kind of let your mind spin on road biking. Mountain biking, you have to be fully present with what you're doing And in that way, it actually makes it really relaxing. I also want to invite you specifically to try to think about what you've learned from Mark and from your other teachers in all your classes, especially in the Razor's Edge. I want you to ponder on that as you're writing. So maybe as we pause and have a break, think like, okay, am I experiencing stillness? Or am I experiencing flow? Or am I experiencing the PERMA model? Am I having a range of emotions? A meaningful life is not just a life that pursues happiness only, but a life that pursues meaning. And meaning comes through a full range of emotions, and I expect some of you will probably feel that full range today.
But I do want people to push through their perceived barriers, because they will get better. And the only way to get better is to push harder. So we let them kind of go at their own pace, but we're always kind of bugging them a little bit. Hey, you can do better. You can do a little more. I know it's a scary hill, but we do scary things. And every single one of them pushes through and gets better.
I wasn't super stressed about coming on this trip. It was because I kept thinking, well, they have a good plan and we're going to be surrounded by competent people. Like people who know what they're doing are all over this place. And the plan is to help all of us have a good experience and succeed and improve our abilities like from point A to point B. And I just keep thinking about like how our regular lives, like I've kind of maxed out. Like this is the most stressed out I've been in my life to date with like everything that's going on. But it's the same, like there's a good plan and no one is more competent than the Lord. And he wants us to succeed. And we can also surround ourselves with competent people to help us when there's things that we need. And we can find that help around us, and we should actively go get it if we don't have it.
I don't know that we think of this as a boot camp. We have people that are highly successful professionals. They're highly actualized adults. So it's not that we're trying to break them down and build them back up the way you would at a boot camp. What we're really trying to accomplish here is to get people space to think about the big picture questions in their professions and in their lives.
And it's also designed to push people physically and emotionally. People who have fear of heights, doing a 100, 110-foot rappels is intense. And they not realize it, but mountain biking can be pretty intense and scary too. Often we're hoping that they have kind of what we call an overwhelming mastery experience, where it's like, I didn't know I could do that and I overcame that fear, or I learned to ride the bike and that influences other areas of their life.
I've rappelled a little bit before, but that was by far the biggest heights I've gone down. I was at the bottom looking up and realizing like what I had done, and I was kind of like, wow, that is so much more than I thought it was going to be, but you kind of didn't even know till it was over. And I kind of feel like that might actually be the program too, right? Like at the end of it, you look back and realize how much it was as far as the benefit and the growth. And while it's happening, you can barely even tell in some ways, but it was awesome to see something so beautiful and also realize it was even more than I had expected it to be by the time it was done.
It's been great for me to connect with other people and also to hear their challenges. How are they actually connecting with nature? And overall, sometimes we get too busy in life that we leave this behind and don't realize that we have things that we can actually enjoy and be part of, that it has a real meaning, such as a nature appreciation, the things that we naturally are given to us. So just like the views, the peace, birds, and all that is surrounding those things.
When I was coming into this, I was really nervous about just getting away from work, just letting responsibilities, wait for a few days so that I could just think, just get out in nature, think, talk to people I care about in my class, and be able to just connect, with nature, connect with other people, and it just delivered all of the above. We had an amazing time and deep conversations. We got to know each other really, really well, and I just know we're going to be friends forever. It's been just an amazing experience.
We've cried together. We talked about some very vulnerable things together. We asked each other, what's one thing that we're struggling with that we can help each other with? And we talked about a myriad of things between all of us. And it was anything from, I need a job because my boss says I'm done. How can I get married? How do I develop deeper relationships? And as we talked about it, we gave advice, and it was loving, and we cried together. It was incredible. And I think that going forward, the people in the van with me, we're gonna have this totally different level of relationship. And it's going to be this lasting, lifelong relationship. And I don't think you'll find that in any other master's program.